Super, super excited to be here. Also, really happy to be looking back at this year and how much I was able to accomplish just by being with the club and reading all the books that we picked up this year. So happy. I'm joined by Garima, and we look forward to anyone who is tuning in and who will be joining us in a while. So currently we are reading in the Online Money Book Club. We are reading this amazing book titled Atomic Habits by James Clear. Clearly everybody should pick it up and read. It's anybody I speak to these days and I mention we're reading Atomic Habits, they either say they're already reading or they intend to read. So best time to join in, I think. And what we do at the Money Book Club is, we pick up books on personal finance, habit building, investing, and mindset shifting. And inside of that, we've been reading this book. And so this week we were reading up till chapter 11, right? 10 and 11, and we shall begin with some sharing as to how this week was. What did we learn? What did we implement? And then we move on to some reading from chapter 12, and then followed by some more discussions. So, hi Sneha, welcome. Great to have you here. Yes, so welcoming everyone. So please, let's kickstart the discussion with some sharing. How was chapter 10, 11 reading and implementation? So whoever would like, I will share mine too in a while. I'll let you guys go first.
I think she felt like a message, and I was just talking to you. I really loved chapter 11 because it was very relatable, right? I myself, most of the times I end up being in motion, not in action. So the whole idea is कि plan bana lo. I spend a lot of time planning. This is what we'll do, and then I spend a lot of time perfecting the plan, right? So there's too much time spent in strategizing that I miss the action part of it. So I like that part. And when he says, the best is the enemy of the good. So you, instead of doing something, I think we spend too much time perfecting the whole approach. So I like that thing, and I think that's my issue, which I shouldn't. Just get up and do your reps, as he says. Jo bhi karo, jaise bhi karo, do it. I think that I was able to relate to a lot.
Yes. And like I always, whenever you share something, I would always chime in and say, oh, you're not alone. I'm right there with you. And even for this one, it's a very different perspective because sometimes we can get caught up in the whole thing of, oh, I'm doing something, I am working on it, I am building that plan, and I will get started, or the thought that start has already happened, I've already started, but then until we actually act on that plan, we don't see the outcome that we desire. And that's where I think the perspective he provided of being in motion. In fact, on one of the calls today, I shared that, are you in motion or are you in action, or we want to be with that one, right? I could also relate to how many women who we speak with, they say that, okay, yeah, I'm doing a lot of research. I am watching many videos, reading a lot, reading some books. But until we are able to really answer the question that, okay, what steps have you taken in terms of actions? Have you started investing? Right? Because ultimately, whatever plan we make, it boils down to investments for the goals to happen. So that's where the other way I look at, the other way it came to me the other day was, being in motion sometimes is like on the spot jogging. Yeah, I'm moving, but not getting ahead. So that's another analogy it just occurred to me. So this is really good, I think, in helping us see that a question we should be asking ourselves, okay, am I truly in action, or is this just motion and I'm happy about being in motion?
I know. I think, I don't know where this thing about doing it perfectly comes into us. I think that's a corporate uh, pressure. Uh, but we all do it. We make a million PPTs before we actually action on any one of those. Same thing yahan pe. So very relatable. And I realize why everybody is talking about this book. It's very simple, and everybody is doing the same thing. We're all guilty of it in a way. Most of us, I mean.
Yes, that's true. I have resolved that in the new year, this book is going to be my nighttime read throughout. At least I'm setting out with that intention that whatever else I may be reading, but before I go to bed, and thanks to this book that I'm getting used to reading at night, so I want to continue and see how life will be in December 2022 when I've read this book, God knows how many times, perhaps, right? And then I continue to implement the little that I keep learning from the book. So I remember the first time I read, I only went back with the 1% improvement और पूरा calculate किया कि अच्छा 1% improvement मतलब 1% अपना day का कितना होता है, some 14 minutes something, and that was the only takeaway I had. So this time, of course, I have taken back a lot more thanks to the reading and implementation. So yes, Sneha, hey, how are you? And have you been reading this book?
I have read it long back, Sheetal, but no, I wanted to reread it again, but couldn't. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, but that habit stacking really works. Like I always say that after my yoga, I have to go for a walk. So that's when it happens. Otherwise, I never be able to do. Like evenings, I want to go for a walk or something, but very rarely I go. But the morning thing is happening because always like after yoga, I have to go for a walk. I mean, nothing else I'm doing. So that works.
Beautiful. So perfect. So jump in. You can also be my nighttime reading buddy if you want to just continue reading this book. I'm excited to see how it may, turn out by the end of the year, next year. So yes, hi Meenal, hi Purva, welcome. How's your reading going, and what would you like to share from last week's reading?
Hey, hi. I'm a little behind this week. And yes, I like that 1% idea. Actually, that time I didn't join the reading, but I was following up very much with that. And that 1% thing is really working, in every aspect, actually, not only in reading. And how is this plank going? That is very interesting. I can't combine reading with anything else. Reading is reading. You're doing great. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to share, if maybe it'll inspire some of you. So the first day of my plank reading, where I said that, okay, because I had heard someone say that a woman would do this plank posture, and then she would just like read for like 30 minutes. Okay. So I said, all right, because one of my goals is also to work out regularly. So let's plug this in. And then thanks to the discussion, the ideas which were floating around, so I said, okay, let me pick up the book. And the first day I did it, because I've done plank, so I was also trying to get the posture right. The first day I did it, of course, I was like, okay, I can't, if I focus on breathing, I just could not read. Like I read, but it did not make sense to me. The instant response was, ye nahi chalega, how am I going to read? But also a part of me now, having worked on myself and the different discussions we do, I know that this is just the initial experience, day one experience. So I just have to go back to it and keep listening to, keep observing, keep improvising, maybe keep exchanging notes with you guys. So the next day I went, and it has continued, the day one. I don't know what day that was it a week ago, 10 days ago, but it has continued. And the other thing, the good thing that has happened is I pick up a different book. I experimented with, I think, two kinds of book, then I try to tell myself maybe I should go with an easier book. Of course, a big book comes in the way, so that's not helping. Maybe the phone is the best, but I wanted to pick up another book, so I did that, and I have continued to. So the good thing is that I may just read like half a page. Now I managed to also understand what I'm reading. Then I sit back and I continue reading that page. So that way I have progressed with that second book as well. So that's good. Today I was able to, I think, really hold on a little longer, I think. So that's another thing that has happened. So I continued. Yeah, my nighttime ritual is also continuing. Just last night I just jumped into bed. I was too tired. I think I just jumped into bed, and then I realized, oh, I did not put out the yoga mat. But I was too lazy. But the next morning I also got a little scared because I broke the habit that I was building of putting out the yoga mat. So I was concerned a little bit. I did do the workout, but I don't know, should I be concerned about it? I don't know, because I know that I am not confident कि ये हो गया, ये set है. I know I have not reached that point कि ये ना ज़्यादा thinking के बिना भी हो जाएगा. It's just not there. I know. But yeah, मजा आ रहा है. Yes.
I think don't guilt yourself into this too much. Maybe you were just overworked. Have some compassion for yourself. It's a simple miss.
That's important.
As long as you remember and you did it,
yeah,
I think that's something which will help.
Yes. And the thing you said, right? Don't go 2 days.
Yeah, I like
consecutive days without doing it.
So good, and congrats. I'm thinking, this plank thing is good, but you're right. Having a lighter book may probably help, because other time getting yourself.
Yeah, but then these are the initial things we face, and as long as we are aware कि ये होगा, and then you continue, then you just align your body, or breathing, everything aligns. बस बाल को ऐसे समेट के जाना होता है, and then the size of the book also, because the book I'm reading is pretty big, तो फिर वो page flip करना is also a challenge. So in a way, the length that way, otherwise mobile phone would be pretty good. I think you could even set a timer on the mobile. Right now I'm not looking at the timer. But 1 page a day is happening. That's good. Yes, Purva, what's up? How are you? And have you been doing some reading with us?
Yeah, actually I'm trying, but you all are so active on the group. Every time when I'm worried that I'm not doing anything. 1 day reading and 2 days gap. Last time also I was not able to attend the meeting, but this time I said no, I will read at the time of the meeting.
Yes. Wonderful that you came. Showing up is the most difficult part, because you could have very easily told yourself that nahi yaar, kuch padha bhi nahi, kya jaun ab main, chodo, but you showed up, and that takes a lot of courage. So thank you. Keep doing that. And another thing you could take is maybe any message in the group is a cue for you to read.
Actually, and that is the motivation. You all are giving motivation, motivating me towards reading, actually.
Awesome. Now the next thing you do is share.
Unfortunately has a different view for motivation, Sheetal, remember?
Motivation. Batana zara, I have forgotten now.
Even I'm forgetting. Let me Google it. I remember, right? He has very strong feelings for this word.
Motivation. Yeah. But then I really resonated with what I saw on the reel the other day, right? That how do you stay motivated? Well, you just stay consistent.
Yes, that's what even he said.
So powerful. That's consistent.
Or maybe Purva, you can just, like Sheetal said, you can read every time there is a message.
Yes.
Motivation is overvalued. Environment matters more.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'll definitely keep it.
true, true.
Overrated. Motivation is overrated.
Overrated, yes. Purva, you could also practice sharing in the group. It could just be a one line that says, I read today. And whatever else you might want to share, because then
Yeah,
you
actually, I was
practice.
thinking that at least I'll put something in the group. Then I will. अरे मैंने कुछ मतलब इतना मैं कुछ कर ही नहीं रही हूँ. You all are doing very well, and so what to do with that? जाने दो kind of.
Ah, comparison will kill the inspiration, motivation, everything. So that's what it is.
Yeah, so this time I said no, I will go in the meeting, and at least I will listen, and I will read what you are at least sharing, and at least that time I will get a little bit more active in the group like this.
Yes. There was something ridiculous that Priyanka once told us, which is because sometimes one of the big reasons we often give is time nahi hai.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we think that to do this activity, whatever XYZ activity, I want 30 minutes nahi mila na to kaha I will not feel satisfied and all that. So we would always complain about not being able to read the many books we buy. And Priyanka said, read one line to Hira. And
Yes.
then Hira said, what Priyanka, what one line, at least एक page to पढ़ो या कुछ तो. Priyanka said, no, just do one line. Right? So I'm thinking, चलो आप 1% नहीं कर सकते तो 0.1% ही कर लो. Read one line, open the book or take the book out of the shelf, anything. So there are many things we can do to ensure that we are in action, not in motion.
Yeah, you
Sure.
can keep the book somewhere, a place where you pass very often in the house, so that every time you see it, you will want to maybe just pick it up and read. You can try.
It's near my bed only, but sometime what happen कि I'll take the book and then I say, oh, I'm so tired, so I need to sleep. I'll just skip it again. So
then
whenever I start reading, I feel like sleepy.
इस पे
Purva
भी
same. Yeah, you go.
go
Shikha.
ahead Meenal.
No, a bedside book, even I keep bedside और ऐसे evenings और late night अगर हो गया तो मेरा भी same होता है. But then what happens if it is near bedside? तो when you wake up, you can pick it up. एक page पढ़ो, then only you will get out of the bed. You can do that. And then I do it and it works for me.
Yeah, that's why I'm keeping it as means beside my bed only. So whenever I feel कि नहीं अब ये करना है, but whenever I open it, एक लाइन पढ़ा कुछ समझ नहीं आया, then I feel कि no, this is not my cup of tea. So that is next day. So I'm just pushing it towards the next day.
That's fine, Purva. Just read. First
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
if you don't understand, just plain read. Don't try to understand it.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
idea is, and that's what even the author says. The idea is to just do it. After 5 days, 10 days, you will want to read the second line, the third line, and so on and so forth. I
Yes,
keep it right next to my phone charger. So मुझे बड़ा guilty सा होता है कि यार मैं phone देख रही हूँ, लाओ बुक ही उठा लेती हूँ. That's where I keep
Yes, I'll do that. I'll keep near my phone only, because mostly what happen, we are fully dependent on phone. We are just whenever we feel like to do something or read something, say just mobile dekh lo, and then mobile will take over all the time, and the book to रह ही जाता है. But next time I feel that, means I'll do that. Actually, I'll try that. मैं book को देखूंगी पहले mobile के.
Yes. And बेशक next time भी ये होगा कि you may want to not look at the book first, but then तब you have to talk yourself into reading. उठाओ और 4-5 lines पढ़ो. And something that Priyanka again in one of our meets she shared is whenever we do this, जैसे सोने का मन होगा कभी, and read करने का मन नहीं होगा. If you look at financial structures, for example, we know that we need to do the financial structures, or we know that we need to plan our 2022 budget, make the plan and all that. But we would want to maybe go hang out, yeah, kuch dekh lo, you know, or sleep. Then one day she just asked us that, what is your commitment? Are you committed to sleeping, or are you committed to your growth? Right? And these things happen to all of us. So I think that the question is, if you're not committed to reading, which is why you're not reading, then you're committed to relaxing, chilling, you know. So commitment wahan hai, commitment yahan nahi hai. So you know, there's so many different conversations we can have. Ultimately, what is it that we want? You know.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So bas
Yeah,
karo,
I'll do.
socho mat.
Yeah, definitely I'll do.
yes. And there are days we are also sharing कि देखो हम तो बिल्कुल fail हो रहे हैं यहाँ पे, we are falling flat. नहीं हो रहा है, you know, we share that as well. Like the sleeping early is not happening for me. 1-2 बजे बज जा रहा है कभी कभी, you know. So yeah, slowly, steady.
Yeah, I'm watching your messages. Late night means early morning. I'm watching the 12:30. You're sending some book pictures and all those things. I was wondering, so late also you're reading the book.
Yeah, because I wake up late, 8 o'clock ऐसा हो जाता है आजकल.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So shall we do some reading? I like this part about how long does it actually take to form a new habit. Right? I would like to read it for you all. How long does it actually take to form a habit? Because, you know, there have been so many things about do it 21 days straight, do it 30 days, do it 300 days, right? So he has also answered that how long does it actually take to form a new habit. So he writes, habit formation is the process by which a behavior becomes progressively more automatic than repetition. The more you repeat an activity, the more the structure of your brain changes to become efficient at that activity. Neuroscientists call this long-term potentiation, which refers to the strengthening of connections between neurons in the brain based on recent patterns of activity. With each repetition, cell-to-cell signaling improves and the neural connections tighten. First described by neuropsychologist Donald Hebb in 1949, this phenomenon is commonly known as Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together. Wow. Where is that part?
So I like the line that he says habits form based on frequency, not time. I think which is why all these so-called 21-day transformation, they fail eventually.
So it's here. One of the most common questions I hear is, how long does it take to build a new habit? But what people really should be asking is, how many does it take to form a new habit? That is, how many repetitions are required to make a habit automatic? There is nothing magical.
PDF, please.
Yes, just 1 second. My God, fireworks going off already. Okay, there. Yeah, there is nothing magical about time passing with regard to habit formation. It doesn't matter if it's been 21 days or 30 days or 300 days. What matters is the rate at which you perform the behavior. You could do something twice in 30 days or 200 times. It's the frequency that makes the difference. Your current habits have been internalized over the course of hundreds, if not thousands of repetitions. New habits require the same level of frequency. You need to string together enough successful attempts until the behavior is firmly embedded in your mind and you cross the habit line. This is the habit line. Yeah, the habit line. So when we cross the habit line is when things will become automatic, is what I get, right? Until then, you just keep repeating. I guess how much me.
No, but that's so true, right? That's why हम बच्चे को भी बोलते हैं ना, practice. If you write every day, you'll get into the practice of writing. So
yeah.
I think as adults, we forget these things, repetition,
Yes,
revision.
true. Now we need to keep it in a before telling to the kids, we should remember this first.
Mm. I think with as grown-ups, we also think that हम तो grown up है, adult है, हम तो चाहे तो कर लेंगे, because we're grown ups, we know better, we have far more experience, so बस हो चाहे तो हम कर लेंगे, we'll do it. But we go through, I think, the same. We know now, we are so aware, I think all of us here at least, कितना हम practice कर रहे हैं, like the money gym structures have still not become automatic, for example, because repetition उस तरह से नहीं, like I may go back to it twice in a month, but it's not daily. But if I start doing it 4 times a month or 2 times per week, and increase the repetition, तो हम I think velocity से पहुंचेंगे आगे, है ना? Every day देखो video. Okay. So today we read chapter 12. The law of least effort. When I read this, I just felt like, wow, I think this is going to be my favorite chapter.
The magic pill, huh?
Because I wouldn't like to, मेरा goal ही है कि मैं life को easy बनाऊं, comfortable बनाऊं अपने लिए, that I don't have to do hard work, but the thing is that initially hard work लगेगा फिर उसके लिए, है ना? Nothing can be made super easy, of course, I think. So yes, now I call upon maybe Garima to read it to us.
Sure.
I'll share the screen.
Maybe I was very happy. Least effort is a magic pill.
But alas.
Okay. In his award-winning book, Guns, Germs, and Steel, anthropologist and biologist Jar Diamond points out a simple fact. Different continents have different shapes. At first glance, the statement seems rather obvious and unimportant, but it turns out to have a profound impact on human behavior. The primary axes of the Americas run from north to south. That is, the land mass of North and South America tends to be tall and thin rather than wide and fat. The same is generally true for Africa. Meanwhile, the land mass that makes up Europe, Asia, and the Middle East is the opposite. This massive stretch of land tends to be more east-west in shape. According to Diamond, this difference in shape played a significant role in the spread of agriculture over the centuries. When agriculture began to spread around the globe, farmers had an easier time expanding along east-west routes than along north-south ones. This is because locations along the same latitude generally share similar climates, amount of sunlight and rainfall, and changes in season. These factors allowed farmers in Europe and Asia to domesticate a few crops and grow them along the entire stretch of land from France to China. The shape of human behavior. And this actually, Sheetal, makes a lot of sense. There was actually a discovery documentary long back I had seen that this is why even our food habits are what they are, because of the way we farm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So by comparison, the climate varies greatly when traveling from north to south. Just imagine how different the weather is in Florida compared to Canada. You can be the most talented farmer in the world, but it won't help you grow Florida oranges in the Canadian winter. Snow is a poor substitute for soil. In order to spread crops along north-south routes, farmers would need to find and domesticate new plants whenever the climate changed. As a result, agriculture spread 2 to 3 times faster across Asia and Europe than it did up and down the Americas. Over the span of centuries, this small difference had a very big impact. Increased food production allowed for more rapid population growth. With more people, these cultures were able to build stronger armies and were better equipped to develop new technologies. The changes started out small, a crop that spread slightly farther, a population that grew slightly faster, but compounded into substantial differences over time. The spread of agriculture provides an example for the third law of behavior change on a global scale. Conventional wisdom holds that motivation is the key to habit change. Maybe if you really, really wanted it, you'd actually do it. But the truth is, our real motivation is to be lazy and to do what is convenient. And despite what the latest productivity bestseller will tell you, this is a smart strategy, not a dumb one. Energy is precious, and the brain is wired to conserve it whenever possible. It is human nature to follow the law of least effort, which states that when deciding between two similar options, people will naturally gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. For example, expanding your farm to the east, where you can grow the same crops rather than heading north, where the climate is different. Out of all the possible actions we could take, the one that is realized is the one that delivers the most value for the least effort. We are motivated to do what is easy. Every action requires a certain amount of energy. The more energy required, the less likely it is to occur. If your goal is to do 100 push ups per day, that's a lot of energy. In the beginning, when you are motivated and excited, you can muster the strength to get started. But after a few days, such a massive effort feels exhausting. Meanwhile, sticking to the habit of doing one push up per day requires almost no energy to get started. And the less energy a habit requires, the more likely it is to occur. Look at any behavior that fills up as much of your life, and you will see that it can be performed with very low levels of motivation. Habits like scrolling on your phone, checking email, watching television steal so much of our time because they can be performed almost without effort. They are remarkably convenient. In a sense, every habit is just an obstacle to getting what you really want. Dieting is an obstacle to getting fit. Meditation is an obstacle to feeling calm. Journalism is an obstacle to thinking clearly. You don't actually want the habit itself. What you really want is the outcome the habit delivers. The greater the obstacle that is, the more difficult the habit, the more friction there is between you and your desired end state. This is why it is crucial to make your habits so easy that you will do them even when you don't feel like it. If you can make your good habits more convenient, you will be more likely to follow through on them. But what about all the moments when we seem to do the opposite? If we are all so lazy, then how do you explain people accomplishing hard things like raising a child or starting a business or climbing Mount Everest? Certainly, you are capable of doing very hard things. The problem is, some days you feel like doing the hard work, and some days you feel like giving up. On the tough days, it's crucial to have as many things working in your favor as possible so that you can overcome the challenges life naturally throws at you. The less friction you face, the easier it is for your stronger self to emerge. The idea behind make it easy is not only to do easy things. The idea is to make it as easy as possible in the moment to do things that pay off in the longer run. How to achieve more with less effort? Imagine you're holding a garden hose that is bent in the middle. Some water can flow through, but not very much. If you want to increase the rate at which water passes through the hose, you have two options. The first is to crank up the valve and force more water out. The second option is to simply remove the bend in the hose and let water flow naturally. Trying to pump up your motivation to stick with a hard habit is like trying to force water through a bent hose. You can do it, but it requires a lot of effort and increases the tension in your life. Meanwhile, making your habits simple and easy is like removing the bend in the hose. Rather than trying to overcome the friction in your life, you reduce it. One of the most effective ways to reduce the friction associated with your habit is to practice environment design. In Chapter 6, we discussed environment design as a method for making cues more obvious. But you can also optimize your environment to make actions easier. For example, when deciding where to practice a new habit, it is best to choose a place that is already along the path of your daily routine. Habits are easier to build when they fit into the flow of your life. You are more likely to go to the gym if it is on your way to work because stopping doesn't add much friction to your lifestyle. By comparison, if the gym is off the path of your normal commute, even by just a few blocks, you are now going out of your way to get there. Perhaps even more effective is reducing the friction within your home or office. Too often, we try to start habits in high friction environment. We try to follow a strict diet while we're out to dinner with friends. We try to read a book in a chaotic household. We try to concentrate while using a smartphone filled with distractions. It doesn't have to be this way. We can remove the points of friction that hold us back. This is precisely what electronic manufacturers in Japan began to do in the 1970s. In an article published in the New Yorker titled Better All the Time, James Surovicki writes, Japanese firms emphasize what came to be known as a lean production, relentlessly looking to remove waste of all kinds from the production process, down to the redesigning of workspaces so that workers didn't have to waste time twisting and turning to reach their tools. The result was that Japanese factories were more efficient and Japanese products were more reliable than American ones. In 1974, service calls for American made color televisions were 5 times as common as for Japanese televisions. By 1979, it took American workers 3 times as long to assemble their sets. I like to refer to this strategy as addition by subtraction. The Japanese companies looked for every point of friction in the manufacturing process and eliminated it. As they subtracted wasted effort, they added customers and revenue. Similarly, when we remove the points of frictions that sap our energy and time, we can achieve more with less effort. This is one reason tidying up can feel so good. We are simultaneously moving forward and lightening the cognitive load our environment places on us. If you look at the most habit-forming products, you will notice that one of the things these goods and services do best is remove little bits of friction from your life. Meal delivery services reduces the friction of shopping for groceries. Dating apps reduce the friction of making social introductions. Ride-sharing services reduce the friction of getting across the town. Text messaging reduces the friction of sending a letter in the mail. Like a Japanese television manufacturer redesigning their workspace to reduce wasted motion, successful companies redesign their products to automate, eliminate, or simplify as many steps as possible. They reduce the number of fields on each form. They pare down the number of clicks required to create an account. They deliver their products with easy to understand directions or ask their customers to make fewer choices. When the first voice activated speaker were released, products like Google Home, Amazon Echo, and Apple HomePod, I asked a friend what he liked about the product he purchased. He said it was just easier to say play some country music, then pull out his phone, open the music app, and pick up a playlist. Of course, just a few years earlier, having unlimited access to music in your pocket was a remarkably frictionless behavior compared to driving to the store and buying a CD. Business is a never-ending quest to deliver the same result in an easier fashion. Similar strategies have been used effectively by governments. When the British government wanted to increase tax collection rates, they switched from sending citizens to a web page where the tax form could be downloaded to linking directly to the form. Reducing that one step in the process increased the response rate from 19.2% to 23.4%. For a country like United Kingdom, those percentage points represent millions in tax revenue. The central idea is to create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Much of the battle of building better habits comes down to finding ways to reduce the friction associated with our good habits. and increase the friction associated with our bad ones. Prime the environment for future use. Oswald Nichols is an IT developer from Nats, Mississippi. He is also someone who understands the power of priming his environment. Nichols dialed in his cleaning habits by the following strategy he refers to as resetting the room. For instance, when he finishes watching television, he places the remote back on the TV stand, arranges the pillows on the couch, and folds the blanket. When he leaves his car, he throws any trash away. Whenever he takes a shower, he wipes down the toilet while the shower is warming up. As he notes, the perfect time to clean the toilet is right before you wash yourself in the shower anyway. The purpose of resetting each room is not simply to clean up after the last action, but to prepare for the next action. When I walk into a room, everything is in its right place, Nichols wrote. Because I do this every day in every room, stuff always stays in good shape. People think I work hard, but I'm actually really lazy. I'm just proactively lazy. It gives you so much time back. Whenever you organize a space for its intended purpose, you are priming it to make the next action easy. For instance, my wife keeps a box of greeting cards that are pre-sorted by occasion: birthday, sympathy, wedding, graduation, and more. Whenever necessary, she grabs an appropriate card and sends it off. She's incredibly good at remembering to send cards because she has reduced the friction of doing so. For years, I was the opposite. Someone would have a baby. Someone would have a baby, and I would think I should send a card. But then weeks would pass, and by the time I remembered to pick one up at the store, it was too late. The habit wasn't easy. There are many ways to prime your environment, so it's ready for immediate use. If you want to cook a healthy breakfast, place the skillet on the stove, set the cooking spray on the counter, and lay out any plates and utensils you'll need the night before. When you wake up, making the breakfast will be easy. Want to draw more? Put your pencils, pens, notebooks, and drawing tools on top of your desk within easy reach. Want to exercise? Set out your workout clothes, shoes, gym bag, and bottle ahead of time. Want to improve diet? Chop up tons of fruits and vegetables on weekends, pack them in containers so you have easy access to healthy, ready to eat portions during the week. These are simple ways to make good habit the path of least resistance. You can also invert this principle and prime the environment to make bad habits difficult. If you find yourself watching too much television, for example, then unplug it after each use. Only plug it back in if you can say out loud the name of the show you want to watch. This setup creates just enough friction to prevent mindless viewing. If that doesn't do it, you can take it a step further. Unplug the television, take out the batteries of the remote after each use. So it takes an extra 10 seconds to turn it back on. And if you're really hardcore, move the television out of the living room into a closet after each use. You can be sure you'll only take it out when you really want to watch something. The greater the friction, the less likely the habit.
Should we pause here?
Sure. This is a good chapter.
Yes, and I would like to spend some time really brainstorming on how do we prime the environment, how do we make it easy, how do we make it difficult,
Yep.
I have made some things easy, at least easy for myself. For example, my work table is not just a work table. It's got everything it's got my supplements, it's got the books, of course. There are days when I don't comb my hair, for example. So the comb is here. It's like my dressing table also. And then, some days I would find that, like when I have to apply things on my face, like creams and all of those lotions and all that. Some days I see that I learned this from a dermatologist, for example, that immediately after washing, you don't apply things. You let the water first dry off and then you start applying, that gap time, that wait time, right? So what do I do during the gap time? If I go do something else, then maybe my face will become dirty. Ye sab bhi hota hai mera. But yeah, now my work desk has doubled up, tripled up as everything that I need. Just everything is at arm's length, and hence that has ensured that I'm more consistent at applying whatever and taking in whatever that I need to. Just thinking what are just say. Let's think of our habits. What habits we are trying to build, and how can we prime our environment, make things easier, or make things difficult? Friction add karna ya to friction nikalna hai?
Hatana hai. So I remember, Sheetal, in office when
And
we
add
used to go
karna hai.
regularly, and I still do it. I would fill, for example, 2 bottles with warm water and keep it at my desk, because I know if I don't have water in front of me, I will not get up and drink it. So that's a habit I had to. Now it's become a habit that you wake up, you fill the water first, and keep it at your desk. Like reading, so I've kept it with my phone charger, so that before I pick up the phone, I know there's my book and I have to pick up my book rather than the phone first. Yeah, but on the financial front, like you said, moving from a fortnightly update of money in, money out to a weekly to a daily, I think that's should be the next goal for me.
Like
I can keep the file open when before I shut down my system for the day, because I normally log off by 9 in the night. I can keep the file open with me so that it's there.
Yeah. Or we create a shortcut on a desktop, for example, if it's a personal laptop. Like, I've seen my friend who were on the go. I've seen him sometimes on the go. I am not very comfortable using Excel on my phone. And that's a deterrent. मेरे को खोलने का मन ही नहीं करता है, not very comfortable, convenient. और फिर laptop में खोलने means the friction point number 1 is open your laptop, go to Google Drive, so all of those. Of course, Google Drive, if it's a personal laptop, then nowadays sometimes you just type and then it shows up and you can easily get to it. That's there. So one thing I did was I have downloaded Google Sheet, and then there is a certain widget जिससे वो Google Sheet बिल्कुल ऊपर होगा on my phone, for example, but I still don't go back to it enough. But some ways we can reduce the frictions would be make it like on the desktop, bookmark it. And I also usually when I bookmark, for example, then there are only limited items I can see, and I go on bookmarking a lot of things. Then recently I spotted that on someone's screen, I spotted the folders, for example, so now I made a folder that says reading. So it has got all the materials, like I subscribe to this magazine, which I'm not reading because it's somewhere in my email. It doesn't even come up when I just Google, and it does not come up. So I have to go to the email, then click on the link and then open it. So too many friction points. But I made a folder titled reading and the other things that I may want to frequently visit. The folder bana diya so that more links can go in there. Otherwise I am only frequently visiting what I see. And then there are many more that I don't get to see on the list bookmarks bar. So that's another thing I've done. What else?
I think the mail is an issue because even when I subscribe to, James Clear's, everyday thing, that's a problem. I don't visit my personal email as often as I visit my office one. So I miss it.
Yeah.
But on the memo, now that I just said it out loud, it makes sense for me to keep it open on my office laptop because I know I open it every day. And just before I'm shutting it down, at least if I can see it on my system, I can update it also.
You can try the app for Memo. if that works better for you than putting it on the Excel.
On the phone,
Mm.
I'm not. I find it very complicated to enter.
Oh, but I found that at least the app I use, Money Lover, and even for me, for example,
name is so
yes, I've been using it for like 7-8 years now.
so nice.
Yeah, then I always had it on my phone, and still opening till today. I don't really do my real-time updates. I'll at some point in the day or end of the day, I would go and update it. There's a reminder that comes at a certain time that, okay, do you have some spendings today to upload? But because I'm spending more time on my laptop, throughout the day I'm on my laptop, it's on, right? दिखाई नहीं दे रहा, but Money Lover, ha. Yeah, so there's a web version, and I finally went online. Web Money Lover karke hai. Now when it's open, it's easier for me to add. I've just about started to use it, but for me that is easier because laptop mein already khula hai. I can even leave it open, and kuch transaction hai, then I go quickly update it, rather than the phone, open the app and feel yes. So it's just slightly more easy on the laptop. So this is another thing, web wala bhi hai.
So then I'll try it on my office laptop, the web version. I don't like the phone.
So yeah, what else? How else can we prime our environment for success? Think of the habits you're building.
I created meal plan actually. And it's working amazing, I'm loving it. No friction. So, yeah, Garima, I'll share my money stacking docs also. When I read that book, every document I have created in Excel, and it's working nice. Until date, it's working.
Beautiful.
And I'm loving it. Really, I mean, when you meal plan, so I do it weekly, week on week. So tomorrow or day after, like Saturday or Sunday, mostly Saturday, I'll do this next week meal plan. Yeah, and Sunday shopping done. No friction. Monday to Friday, I'm free. So ready रहता है.
Yes.
I'm given freedom.
That's a good thing.
Freedom to kids also, that they get to plan when they are participating, and with their participation it makes fun, what they likes. I mean,
awesome. Yeah, because I think one of the things is, especially with food, for example, I don't enjoy cooking as such, right? The thinking is a friction. अरे सोचना पड़ रहा है क्या बनाओ, नहीं है तो फिर अच्छा alternate क्या बनाओ, कितना बनाओ, वो क्या खाएगा. Too many decision making. And that is always
I'm super lazy.
And
that's why I did it actually.
Yeah.
That Bill Gates had said he hires lazy people for lazy jobs. They can find out the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, even he says, right, this is a smart. Being lazy is a smart strategy. You have to find the shortest route to your destination.
Yes. Now, after today's discussion, my brain is gonna work on this one, that okay, how else can I, what are the other habits that I often that I fail at miserably, maybe look at those other areas also of my life. I do want to be more organized. One of the things I don't do is, there are certain very important documents and you never know when you might need it, and I'm not the most organized. So some documents will be in the mail, some will be in the WhatsApp, ऐसा है. But being more organized is the identity I am I want to build. Abhi bhi mujhe lagta hai I've not consciously started working on it. And to be more organized, I feel one of the things is to do it now. Kill the procrastination and do it now. So, and Google Drive is one of the easiest things, I think. So अभी से मैंने थोड़ा शुरू किया है that okay to 2022 का budget wala file, then just make a folder or for my personal finance thing and then keep updating. Like I still don't have a folder that says 2021, for example, because when you do it year on year, then sometimes the files really get heavy, and I've changed laptops at times and I've lost some of the old data as well. And hence now I'm intentional about year on year folder kholo, so that reflecting is also easier when it's organized. है ना, जब organized नहीं होता तब problem होता है. So yeah, so being more organized is another thing. Folders बनाते जाओ, डालते जाओ वहाँ पे is another thing. But yes, keep sharing, guys. Ki what do you keep doing in this regard from this chapter? I'm excited to look at what I might find. और कैसे difficult करना है ये भी है ना?
Yeah, how to be lazy and still be able to do it.
Yeah, how to
And you know
conserve
what,
energy.
Shikha, I feel that we overanalyze a lot of things. कि कई बार अरे यार लोग क्या कहेंगे? For example, for if you tell somebody okay you meal plan, there are people who will not like it. But to people who are working like us, meal planning is a very effective way to save time and still have home food. So I think I have to stop, and I'm using I because each to his own. I have to stop analyzing and going on a guilt trip. ये नहीं हुआ या what somebody else will say. I have to do it for myself. So stop thinking.
Yes, unless the person is himself herself coming to cook, help you
हाँ
cook.
मतलब please आ जाओ.
हाँ, नहीं तो बस खुद से करना है तो ऐसे ही करेंगे हम तो. So that's what at this
I
point.
think we think too much about the judgment that people will give us rather than just doing it.
Sometimes it may not even be another person, but it can be what I'm conditioned. Like as we're talking about meal, one concern is कि अगर वो शायद veggies इतना fresh नहीं होगा. So no, there's nobody who told me. I am telling this to myself,
Correct.
But at the same time, I've also done meal preps because limited time hota tha. I'll make 2-3 दिन का veggies काटो, कभी तो boil भी करके रख दिया because कल परसों भी खाना है, something like this.
Correct.
So yeah, to each his own, whatever helps us make progress and live fulfilled lives.
It's all about reducing the friction, right? ठीक है, नहीं हो पाया some days, so that's fine. But
Effort
I like
minimize
the idea.
करना है.
See, everybody gets 24 hours and sleep is essential. So you have your office to do, you have everything to do, so it's fine. So I think for me today, 2 takeaways. One is meal prep wala, thanks Meenal, and the other one is the Memo one. How to at least, I have to create that cue. Okay, now it's time for me to fill.
Yes, you can set a reminder, or if you download the app, these apps have reminders, right?
I'll do that.
So सोने से पहले types. Okay, so on this note, thank you all for joining in for the last discussion of 2021. Really, really excited for the new year. We will keep coming, meeting, talking, discussing, reading together and growing. There's so much wealth that we want to build. And joy and abundance is overflowing in all of our lives. And for everybody watching as well, 2022 is going to be great. Okay, so on this note, we continue to read this chapter, practice, and then we'll add chapter. Yeah, हमने कौन सा पढ़ा था? 12 पढ़ा था.
12.
So we do 12 and 13 for the coming week. Purva, we all look forward to your updates in the group. The day you don't update, we will know that you did not read. Okay, so Thank you so much. Yes,
Yes,
lots of
sure.
love. Have a happening night, and then we'll see you in the new year. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.